Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Fantasy Farm Sports Thursday night football picks. I get questions every single week about, when we're going live and how do I find your channel? Guys, very simple. Fantasy Farm underscore sports. Subscribe and then hit the little bell. That way you get notifications of when you can get information from this channel to hit your bets. Right? Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make you money all season long. And we're trying to also keep you away from making mistakes, right? Sometimes you want to bet a game, whether it be Sunday night or in the middle of the day, where you should just stay away from the bets. You don't have to bet everything. That's like the key to life, right? So, you have a whole buffet of picks sitting there, a whole buffet of food. You don't have to eat everything. My God, imagine if you ate everything, you'd be putting on weight like crazy. And we want to keep you fit and trim on this channel. All right, so let's get into our games, right? Like and subscribe. It's very simple. Hit that subscription button. I think it's right down here, right down in that general area, right in the lower right-hand corner. Just hit the subscribe. We're trying to get to 200. That way we can start doing a little bit more here on the channel. We have a great game tonight and a great game to bet. That's most important. Sometimes you get great games where you want to sit and watch. We have a great game to bet. Our bet today is sponsored by gridironmancavehelmets.com. You want to take a look at the product that they make. Look at that mustache there. Fantasy Farm Sports. You can go right to gridironmancave.com, type in Jack for Jack Stache, and you can get yourself a discount on some Christmas gifts, whether it be a helmet, whether it be they have rivalry products over there as well. So type in the code Jack and you get a percentage off. I think it's 10 or 20% for the holiday season. Rams versus the Seahawks. The first time these two played, they played within 3 points. I believe it was 21-19, right? 21-19 within just a few points of each other. It's a division rivalry game. These are both great teams, right? Both teams are 11-3. They're both going to the playoffs. This game is essentially for the division. The Rams won the first game. I talk about this all the time because it's very important. Divisions and teams within the division build their squad to play each other. That's very interesting, right? I would hope it be. They build a team in the offseason so that they can beat and win the division. You win the division, you could do other things, whether it be in the AFC or the NFC. You need to win the division. Otherwise, you're hoping and praying and wishing and dreaming for wild cards, and no one wants to do that. Their last matchup, the Rams won. It was big. And since then, both teams have rattled off huge wins. Let's look at their most recent victories. The Rams had to travel to Detroit last week. Matt Stafford, it was a feel-good story. He went up to Detroit, his former team from many years ago, and the Rams got the victory. But the Rams had to battle and deal with Detroit all day long. Let's not pretend like that's a party. That's Dan Campbell screaming and his team fighting and owning every single yard. And although he goes for it more times than he should on fourth down, he coaches a fiery team that wants to fight all the time. That's what the Rams had to deal with last week. The Seattle Seahawks had to deal with a tired, sleepier, albeit still trying to win the game, old man Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts. You basically knew they were going to run the ball, throw some passes. Yes, he had a touchdown. Great. Everybody feels awesome for Phillip Rivers. And he worked his best. But let's not pretend like Seattle was taxed. They didn't have to work really hard. And they got the victory. That was that game. I know it was a really close fought battle. And that's what we're looking at here. But let's look at these teams. Let's look at the sports books, all these things, right? It's -1 as you see it scrolling at the bottom of your screen. The Seahawks are at home. They're favored by 1 point. 1 whole point. At home against the Rams. This is basically for the division. I think what's most interesting here is that the Seattle Seahawks, they have only given up 242 points on the season. Probably had a little bit to do with last week. But the Rams give up 261. They're good defenses, but Seattle's, I think, is a little bit better. We don't know the names as well. We used to know Aaron Darnold and stuff like that. But, Seattle is a bit of a mystery, right? We know that Sam Darnold's up there, and he's not the sexiest quarterback, but he's putting together quite a season. He's got Jackson Smith-Njigba, one of the leading receivers in the league. And there's been a little bit of arguing in LA over the past week. Puka Nacua wanted people to come in and video him doing some things. And that's egocentric. That's what wide receivers are supposed to be. But, it takes away from the team a little bit. McVay denied it. I don't know whether there's an argument there or what's going on. But there's a little bit of unrest in the Rams locker room, as well as this is their second meeting of the season. And I always say that because they're built to win both games. But if the other team's just as good, and Seattle is, the thing that usually happens here is they split. We saw that in Buffalo last week. I was begging all of you guys with both hands around your neck to please bet the Bills. And, everybody said, well, but the Patriots are so good. First of all, it was the greatest bet ever. New England was on a huge winning streak. The streak was about to end. I know that they were playing in New England, but let's settle in for a second. If Buffalo's good, and they are, then they should split with New England. They were down 21-0. I didn't care. I stayed with my bet, and in fact, I doubled down. I got a great deal on Buffalo at 11.5 on top of my money line pick. I raked money. If your conviction is on a team, take the team and don't back away. So if your conviction tonight, like mine, is the Seattle Seahawks at home with that 12th man, with the weather, with the crowd, Sam Darnold and Smith-Njigba have been playing fantastical together. For our 10 viewers watching this, please take the Seattle Seahawks on the money line. That's where you want to be. You want to be living with the Seahawks. I know nobody likes Sam Darnold. He's a serviceable quarterback. The Seattle team is ready to win the division. That defense is built super strong. And they played nobody last week. So they didn't exert any energy. They didn't get beat up at all. Right? Where the Rams had to go to Detroit, and now the Rams got to travel to Seattle. And I understand that this Rams team is probably built for the playoffs. It is. Right? They're a team built to go far. But they're not going to beat the Seahawks tonight. I would take Seattle Seahawks. Oh, by the way, the over-under is 43 points. That's screaming weather, right? That's screaming that these offenses are going to have trouble moving the ball. That's screaming wind, maybe a little bit of snow. I'm not sure what else is involved. Please take the Seattle Seahawks. I'll beg you one more time to subscribe to this channel so that you win. It's very important taking some of that money into the weekend and being able to bet the other weekend games. They're going to be a little bit tougher. They won't mean as much. There are some divisions that are being figured out and won already. And so players are going to be sitting and mystery injuries are going to be popping up. That is not going to happen tonight. Take the Seattle Seahawks on the money line. That's all you need to worry about tonight. Close your eyes, wake up tomorrow morning, make sure you're subscribed to our channel, and have more money. And that's all that's important, really, heading into the weekend. A little bit extra coin in your pocket. I am Jack Stache, Fantasy Farm Sports. I'll see you on the winner's side.